What's going on? So we are back for another recap or review of kind of like my training week as we follow along going into my summer project, which is still being finalized. Still got a few ideas kind of up in the air of what I want to exactly do. I know the direction, so the training's still going to stay, the way it is right now, just basically getting stronger, getting fitter, that kind of stuff, right? I know I'm going to need to be very strong for this project, so that's my main focus. So training week, all in all, it's going well. For my last video, which I'll put up here above so you can check it out if you didn't watch it, indicated I was going to be going into more of a Olympic lifting and muscle building kind of phase and program, which typically you'd almost kind of separate the two, but here this is a power building phase. So we are doing some Olympic lifts three times a week right now. So we're doing some snatches on a day, power snatches, push presses, jerks, and power cleans. So kind of really introducing those. We're doing a lot of technique work. So, I'm doing a lot of volume for snatches on those days, keeping the intensity very low. So we're not pushing a lot of weight. It's about quality, triple extension, hip drive, getting underneath the bar, trying to make the movement as efficient as possible so then I can move load with speed and proficiency rather than try to muscle movements up, which is never a good idea when you're doing Olympic lifting. You want to be very fluid, very technically sound, and recruit all that power and explosivity out of the movement pattern and the mechanics rather than rely on strength, right? So that's the whole back right now, but it definitely kind of puts the ego aside or keeps it in check and allows you to kind of focus in on true proficiency of movement, which is the art of working out, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited about it. I'm liking it. Even those small little things you might not notice when you do powerlifting, but you get a lot of upper back development, traps, core engagement. You kind of get yoked up a little bit. So I like that, and allows me to eat a little bit more too because I'm doing the muscle building stuff on the side. So again, 2 lower body days, 2 upper body days. One's more push emphasis, one's more pull emphasis for the upper body. I'm still kind of incorporating both movement patterns in that routine. I just prefer to do that. And there's some research that shows, frequency is a little bit more effective than doing one strict pull day, one strict push day. That if you divide those same number of sets over 2 workouts rather than one big sum workout, you typically see better results. And I'm able to push a little bit harder because if you think about it, if I'm doing 3 pushes after my push presses, there's more opportunity for my shoulders to give out, get a little bit more fatigued, and the pressing movement is being overloaded. So it's just like I have less firing rate and power to those movements because I'm doing so much pressing. Where if I do some presses after the push press and then I complement that with some pulls, I'm definitely hitting a different muscle group, even though it is relatively a compound movement for the most part I'm doing. But again, it's a different movement, right? Rather than pushing, now we're pulling. So it allows me to feel like I have a little bit more strength in those movement patterns rather than completely, diminishing the pressing and, like I said, fatiguing the triceps, pecs, and shoulders. So I prefer that. And then with the lower body, today, for example, we did a lot of unilateral work post the heavy squat. So this is the day I don't do Olympic lifting. I just focus on heavy triples and heavy 5s. Technically heavy 5s, and I worked in a couple of, didn't get to triples actually, I went to 4s for my final set today of 355 on the squat. And then I did a drop-off set, or 3 drop-off sets. So I did 280 for 10. And then I moved on to some unilateral work where I was able to really kind of hone in on developing the musculature. And today I really emphasized working the posterior chain, so did some single leg hip thrusts, single leg loop bridges, and incorporated split squats with the safety bar. So definitely felt good. And then this evening I went out and did some hill sprints. I did 6 about 30-second runs uphill with a 3-to-1 rest to work ratio. So I rest 3 times the amount it takes me to work. So worked for 30 seconds, took about a minute and a half rest in between going downhill. So actively walking downhill was my rest today. And that was 6 hours apart. So again, I'm eating a lot of food, trying to train hard, train heavy, maximize recovery when I can. Like tomorrow might be a good day where I just kind of really maximize the recovery process and keep it very low intensity. Get my 10,000 steps in, maybe do some mobility work. That's probably going to be it. Potential that I go into the gym and I still do some posterior chain high volume work, like reverse hypers and maybe some concentric good mornings and glute ham raise. But depending on how my body feels, I'll make that decision, because it's not a necessity tomorrow. I can always throw that stuff later in the week, because it was a tough session today. I felt a little bit drained after the fact, and did some breath work to kind of calm the nervous system before I left the gym today. Heavy squats will do that to me especially. And then today with the PM sprints, which was kind of more of a impromptu session. Felt good. I was going out for a walk anyways in the trail, and it just felt right to hit some sprints today. So the plan's going well. It's going good. And again, focus on getting strong, eating a lot of food right now, probably upwards. I do track a couple times a week just to kind of make sure I'm around where I need to be. I basically eat the same stuff every day for the most part, and I kind of know when I'm getting more calories in. So I've got to a point where I can intuitively eat to a certain degree, a pretty good degree, but when I'm really trying to build, I still want to know I'm above 3,300 calories, whatever I am at. 4,000 usually gets me to a point where I'm putting on some size, right? And sometimes it's not always the best size. So here I'm really trying to keep my fitness level up right now. I could probably work myself up to 3,800 calories, and like I said, even in the 4,000s. But today I was probably up around 3,600 calories. I threw in some milk today, some chocolate milk post-workout, so I was getting some easy extra calories and carbs and sugars and proteins right from there. So yeah, that's the training update. Keep following along. We're going to keep kind of give you more detail on what we're doing, especially when we start kind of finalizing the project. Then we can get some training specifics, but I'll keep kind of giving you guys updates on how my lifts are going, how my plan's going, my eating's going, and just the journey towards another record for strength endurance project I'm looking forward to. So catch you on the next one, guys.